G'day, Paul from Democast Media, helping you make better training videos. Coming up on today's vlog, I'm going to share with you some considerations when choosing a screen share program so you can have better meetings, and importantly, being able to share your screen with other people so you can be understood the first time, make the best use of your time. I'm also going to look at a channel that I've been following lately to improve the quality of my audio, and you'll learn a great deal by joining and subscribing to that channel as well. And I'll be looking at 3 ways to extend a frame in Camtasia, and the third way, which is the one that I learned recently, is my favorite and I use it all the time now, and it will save you time. So if you haven't already, if this is the first time you've joined and watched this one of my videos, I invite you to subscribe. If you want to learn how to make better training resources just by using screen capture tools, hit the subscribe button on my channel. This is my channel, as you see here, and I do software demos, I do Camtasia tutorials, I do videos like this talking about the importance of screen capture. And I do this on a weekly basis. So hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you're always kept up to date with the next episode. Now, the first thing I want to cover is Mike Russell's channel. So this is Mike Russell, and he is an audio expert. He does a lot in the space of radio jingles, doing voiceovers. He's done it professionally for a very long time, and just jumping onto his channel, I've learned a model, a 4-step model that helps me improve my audio in a matter of minutes. In a matter of minutes, just using Audacity. He doesn't do too much in terms of Audacity. I wish he did a little bit more in that space, but for what he's done already, I've gotten a whole lot of value. So that's Mike Russell's channel, how to improve your audio. Okay, so this is the next part, how to extend the frame in Camtasia 9. There are 3 ways you can do this. So this is a tutorial that I'm working on this week, and I'll release that later. What I want to show you is, if say you want to extend this part of the footage, there are 3 ways you can do that. So if I click here, split it, and I just want to extend that frame so it lasts longer. There are 3 ways you can do that. If I right click, you'll notice that there's extend frame, or you can do Shift E. If I click there, I just type in how many seconds I want to extend that. If I do it 2 seconds and press OK, that portion is the 2 seconds that it's going to be extended by. Or right there, really. So that's one way to do that. The other way is you go up here to modify, and you do the same thing, extend frame. So those are the 2 ways that I knew how to do it. But then I learned another way doing Ron Hoag's Camtasia course. And what you can do, and this is if you got Camtasia 9, if you press the Alt key, if you hold that down and you hover over the end of the footage, the media, you'll notice that there's a rectangle and an arrow at the very end there. That indicates, that symbol indicates that I can extend the frame out. I can extend it however long I want. So I can eyeball that, or you can see the duration. And that's extended the frame there. It's been a real time saver for me doing that. So now moving into the main part of what I wanted to cover today, and it's about screen sharing software, or software that allows you to have meetings with people from interstate, people who aren't in your office, and you want to have a conversation with them and be able to share your screen. That's what I want to talk about. So the conversation went like this. I had someone approach me at work because I've become the screen capture guy, the go-to person for that. And he asked me, how are we going to share our screen with other people who are interstate? And I said, well, look, what I normally do is use Join Me. So Join Me is another piece of software that lets you hold meetings. And there is a free version of this. So this is what I currently use specifically for this one-click screen sharing. I use it for that because it's just so easy to send it. You can send a link to someone via email. They click on that and you instantly share your screen. And you as the host have control over what they see when they see your screen and when you pause that. And so that's what I use. And so I told him, yeah, look, I would normally use join.me for the reasons I just mentioned. That this software is not a mystery to people. They're already using it. But some of the considerations that we had there was, firstly, how many people could we have using join.me at that time? So we had ourselves as the host, and we had, I think, 3 other people. So basically, there would have been 4 participants needing to access the portal, this software. Unfortunately, because we have the join.me free version, only 3 people could be involved at once. So that basically took this option out of it. So one of the considerations when choosing screen share software is how many people can take part in a meeting. So we, I guess, took join.me out of the picture and went to, okay, well, what about Skype for Business? Well, yes, everyone who works at our company has to have access to Skype for Business by virtue of having Office 365. So, and it has screen sharing. So that's fine as well. What was the next challenge and the next consideration was the audio. So we wanted to make sure that the other participants could hear the meeting clearly and not be sort of faint and in the background. And the challenge that I have with Skype has been the setup. I find the setup at times, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. And I found that on multiple occasions, particularly for getting the audio correct. Making sure that it's configured correctly and that everyone else's settings are also configured correctly. So with all those elements going on, I find Skype particularly quite cumbersome, but that's an important consideration. Like, audio is critical. You need to have clear audio, and if that's something that you're going to be tripping over that, and that's going to cause a headache, then I would consider maybe a different option to Skype for Business. But what we did in the end was just have a phone which allows capacity for teleconferencing. So we just had that sitting as close to the presenter as possible, so they would at least hear that person's voice. They may not have heard all of everyone else's input, but I think for that meeting, that was our workaround solution. Aside from the audio, well, how easy is it to be able to start one of these meetings? And if you already have Skype for Business and you're with team members and they have to have access to this, starting a meeting is fairly easy, and you can just set it up through Outlook. The integration is there. So that isn't so much of an issue if you're already working with your own team. But if you want to try to set up a meeting through something like Skype, then if the other person doesn't have Skype for Business, they've got to install it, and then you have to make sure that there aren't any firewall issues. And that's the thing I've come against with Skype, is if I want to have a meeting with someone else, like a client, and if they don't have Skype for Business, they've got to get the software. That's one hurdle. But then we've got to make sure that it doesn't compete with their firewall. And if that's an issue and it's not really aligning, then it doesn't work. That's one of the gripes that I have with Skype, and to be able to have a screen share opportunity. And that's why I refer again back to join.me, because all you have to do is to get a link and email it to someone, and they click that link, and you can instantly have your meeting. And again, I just use it just to be able to share the screen, which is what I love to be able to do. So that's another consideration: ease of use, ease of starting and sharing a meeting. Now, in terms of how you get around these sort of things, Zoom is another option, and the free option there allows you to you can host up to 100 participants. And this is where we went through the conversation. Sort of, I'm sharing how the conversation sort of went in that order, and then we said, well, what about Zoom? That's another one that we could use. 100 participants can take part in that. But we couldn't go down this path because the free version only has a maximum of 40 minutes on a group meeting. And our meeting was going to go it went for over an hour, so this wasn't going to help us. So we did end up going with Skype for Business and using the telephone. But then, so that's where our conversation went. We sort of went, well, how much does this stuff cost us? Like, we are using Skype for Business just by default. We're not paying any extra for that. But if we're going to have some of these issues of like being able to connect with other people that don't have Skype for Business, how do we make it easier? And this is my point. That how do we make this easier to set up for people, whether they work with us, whether they're employees or they're clients or whoever, or a supplier? How do we make this as easy as possible? And I just find with Skype, I like the issues I mentioned before, it seems to be a barrier to get this done. And so that's when it came down to pricing. Well, how do we compare then? Like, if we consider other options, what are we looking at here? So if I go back to pricing on join.me, so just on their light version, and this is in Australian dollars here, $18 a month allows you to have your online meetings, screen sharing and voice share capabilities. You can have 5 meeting participants when you go to that entry level. You can do your screen sharing, video. You can do unlimited toll and internet calls. If you're on Mac, or if you're using iOS, unlimited whiteboards, you can do that. You can pass, present, and share control. That is a really useful option if you have access to it. So that all of that is available just on the $18 a month plan. When you compare that to Zoom, just in their free, just looking at the free version here, this is a really good option if you just want to have a basic meeting that goes for less than 40 minutes. And what I like about this free version here under Zoom is if you go into video conferencing features, you can have simultaneous screen share. And what that means is hosts using the Zoom desktop client can choose to allow multiple participants to share their screens simultaneously during a meeting. So that's really cool. Just on the free version is awesome. And Zoom is actually a really high quality premium. I consider it a premium option. Has lots of options when you go down that route. You're just limited by the 40-minute cap there. And so if you want to get past that, you're paying $20 a month per host. $20 a month. So you get all of that plus the extras here, as you see. 1 gig of cloud recording. So that is an inevitable consideration. Pricing is going to be a consideration. And I guess the way the conversation ended was $20 a month or $18 a month. You know, when you look at the headaches in trying to set these things up and the value of being able to communicate clearly so everyone understands what's going on, and they're people who work remotely don't feel like they're just on their own and getting things wrong because they haven't been kept up to date with things, or it's difficult to try to explain something without being able to see it. Well, all that adds up to is a waste of time and frustration. It's friction. It's unnecessary friction when you could just make it frictionless. Make it frictionless and invest into something like this. $20 a month can save you a lot of time and frustration over the long run. And even if you don't spend the money, if you're that tight, then just at least go with a free version to start with and start reaping the benefits of being able to share your screen and getting your meetings up and running fast. So the last thing I want to talk about, just a couple of things that I like. I'm completely unrelated to screen capture, but this has been my wife bought this some time ago. The Adventures of Tintin. This is a show that I have loved since I was a kid, and I was looking at videos on YouTube just to reminisce. It's still as good as I remember it, and my wife found this for like $5 for the whole thing. Just get $5 to have gotten this. That was a steal, by the way. And we just finished all of the episodes last week, and I love it. And it's something that they don't make cartoons like that anymore. Some really good principles, and it's just really well done. Really well done. If that was your era, then you'll also appreciate what I'm talking about there. So that's something I really like. Another thing I really like, it's Anzac Day today, and we went to go see a local, it was the parade. You just feel a great sense of community, and it's really great to remember those who have passed on, who have put their lives on the line to take part in the horrors of war, and we enjoy the benefits in this country of freedom. I appreciate and love the country that I'm in. Came here as came here when I was 2.5, and from Chile, and this has been my home since I was 2.5 years old. And I love my heritage, but I love being in this country. So that's another thing that I like. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you got something out of it. So things to consider for your screen sharing programs. If you have any recommendations, leave that in the comments below. I've gone through 3 ways that you can extend your frame. It's just using the Alt key in Camtasia 9 gets it done in a few moments. And make sure to check out Mike Russell's YouTube channel. It will help you get better sounding audio, and that is really important for any type of video that you want to do. And especially if you've got Adobe Audition, definitely go and check out his tutorials. So that's all for today. If you like this, give it a thumbs up or leave your honest feedback below. And we are about helping. I'm here to help rid the world of stress and confusion with screen capture. So if you want to learn how to make better training videos, better training resources, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.